Hey everybody, welcome to Friday the 15th, 2019 of the Utah legislative session. We are in ending week 3 now. It's pretty crazy. Time is flying. As you can see, we're having tons of fun up here. Fun fact, in addition to having a great view of downtown, our studio also is backed out of a wilderness area. Look at these. We just live our best lives here. Love the elk. But it's been a pretty roller coaster of a week. Some not great things happened, but we also had some small victories. So we're gonna kind of talk through that.
For those of you who have been following, this is HB 220, or the Radioactive Waste Amendments. Like Michael said, it's been going incredibly fast through the legislature. So last week we had a vote on it in the House, both the House Committee and House floor, and yesterday it went to the Senate Natural Resources Committee. It's likely going to be going to the floor of the Senate early next week. So we will say this bill has gotten substantially better since the first iteration that we saw. Yesterday during the Senate Natural Resources Committee, they adopted the third substitute. There's been a number of substantial changes. The initial bill essentially repealed the ban on Class B and C waste and also allowed depleted uranium to only be classified at the time of acceptance, which means that it comes in as a Class A waste, and those long-term effects that the division is really concerned about really wouldn't be taken into consideration in assessing whether or not that waste should come here. That first part about the effective repeal of the ban on Class B and C waste, language has been changed in that so that it's not quite as concerning as it once was. That waste could effectively still be brought into the state, but it would have to be blended with lower level waste to keep that radioactivity at a lower level that's equivalent to Class A now. So that's a good thing. However, that time of acceptance clause is still in this bill. It's the piece that Energy Solutions is really concerned about and wanting to effectively get, so that the long-term assessment that they've been doing is only looks at the effects of depleted uranium as a Class A waste rather than, like I mentioned, those long-term effects. So still something we're concerned about, still something that we have to oppose, but it is much better than it was in the beginning.
Yeah, and that can't be emphasized enough that it was a really, really bad bill that could have opened the door to not only B and C waste, but higher levels of waste at the very beginning. And everybody out there sent hundreds of emails and made phone calls.
Yep.
And we really can attribute, I think, to the changes we've seen from a lot of the pressure that you guys put out. We have a resolution from Representative Ray Ward that talks about climate change. In particular, it's potentially climate change biggest negative effect on Utah, which will probably be wildfires. Drought, warm weather is going to lead to some pretty devastating wildfires. We saw that in California this summer. And so Representative Ward is putting forth kind of a pretty balanced resolution that talks about increasing forest management practices and urging the federal government to take it more seriously and provide more funds, but also talks about having to mitigate the effects of a changing climate and talking about it in the context of wildfires. So, and energy storage technology is getting there. We're getting close, but it's still pretty expensive, and so we're trying to figure out ways to incentivize it to increase market adoption at a more rapid rate. And we have 2 bills that are kind of working their way through, and that will do just that. The first one is Senator Lincoln Fillmore's bill, SB 111. And this bill will allocate about $5 million grant to energy storage technology research. The second is SB 149 by Senator Derek Kitchen. And this is basically a tax measure. This would make energy storage technology sales tax exempt. And we're pitching this mostly as a fairness issue. Almost all fuels that are used for electricity generation are exempt from sales tax. Unfortunately, we're running into a bit of a hurdle. Sales tax exemptions are kind of on the chopping block in this whole big tax reform effort. But so we haven't got a committee hearing yet, but we think we might be able to kind of slip it in this larger tax reform discussion. And finally, with more good news, Get all the good news. Get all like the hard stuff. Representative Patrice Arendt's rural renewable energy resolution made it through the whole process. It is officially state policy to encourage the development of renewable energy in rural parts of the state. Governor pitched his $100 million towards air quality. Jesse, you're kind of in the thick of how that money is being allocated or potentially allocated. What's happening?
Well, so this week we saw a full breakdown of what the governor wants to see that money appropriated to, which has been great. Honestly, that list of programs and ideas of how to spend that money is really basically all that we could ask for in terms of the big bang for the buck measures that we can take going forward. What's going on with that money is that it goes through what's called this appropriations process. So there are different committees that basically hear how that we want that money to be spent. Most of that was pitched by the Division of Air Quality and different sponsors that have agreed to take on that appropriation. And they've pitched those to different appropriations committees. And what's happening actually today or early next week is that those different committees will be ranking the appropriations. So we'll have a better idea of where these different ideas will fall out, these different appropriations will fall out in terms of being on the chopping block or not within the budget in the next few weeks as the executive appropriations committee starts to meet. If you want to look at exactly what all those appropriations are, they are all individually up on our bill tracker. So you can go to healutah.org/bill tracker to take a look at what the details of them. But thanks for all your support. We hope you can keep engaging with our action alerts. Keep an eye out for any new ones that might be coming up in the next week or two. Keep tuning into the Capitol Report. We hope you find these fun and exciting way to learn about what's going on up here. We'd also love to have you up here in person if you want to come citizen lobby with us. Every Tuesday and Thursday morning, Noah's up here with a group of citizens helping to push our causes and get the word out about the good things that we're working on. So please join us. You can go to healutah.org for more information, and we will see you next week.
All right, Utahns. It is Friday, February 15th. What's so funny about saying Utahns?
Heal Utahns.
Heal Utahns. Healers. Hey there, healers. It's Michael and Jesse.
This episode of the Capitol Report is brought to you by Merit Medical. Merit Medical is a customer-focused healthcare company that is innovating and delivering a diverse range of products that improve the lives of people, families, and communities throughout the world. Heal Utah business partners believe in the importance of our work, but their support is not necessarily an endorsement of any legislative or regulatory position taken by Heal Utah.